welcome to the Growing Life podcast. It still feels very weird when I'm doing this video podcast because one of the time I'm on my bed with my mic with my laptop and I'm saying welcome, but now I have to actually face the camera and dress up and do makeup as well. But I'm always excited to be here to have conversations with people, and like what I always say, like this is more like a selfish platform because the episode blesses me first before it blesses everybody. So I listen to it over and over again. Then we post it and I'm like, yeah, everyone like, oh my God, that blessed. I'm like, that blessed me like 2 weeks ago. But I'm excited about this episode because we have a fantastic person on the house. He was so kind and humble enough to just respond to my email and is here today. We've taken a lot of his time and we're happy to have him here. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Pastor Tolu Okodopo, and I'm resident pastor of CCI Lagos Island. And aside from pastoring, I'm a big fan of anything media, digital media, because of the potential it has in shaping culture and impactment. So when I got the invite, I was like, why not?
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to be here. Also because of the topic we're talking about.
Yeah, Pete is very humble, by the way. Like, Pete is the founder of Life Giver. I like to blow people's trumpet for them, even when they don't want to. And Life Giver is such a very fantastic platform. So, like, they write like one of the articles I read there, like blessed me completely. Like even recently, I was reading the one about how to evangelize in creative ways, and like they started helping me rethink how Christian fashion should look like in terms of merchandise. And if you can see what I'm wearing. It's like if you're looking for inspiration, years back it was from PT's Life Giver, and we're excited to have PT here. So quickly, we're going to go into what we're going to talk about today. The topic is called Calling, Purpose and Dreams, and I became very interested in this topic when I listened to a pastor from Transformation Church, Pastor Charles Metcalf, and it was like he broke down this conversation a lot for me in a way that I'm like, I'd never thought about purpose in this kind of way before. And it was like, we're called human beings, not human doings. And it was trying to explain that the purpose God initially created us for was to be with Him. And so even if He's calling you into somewhere else, calling you to do something, like it's not expecting you to now leave Him totally and think you can do it without Him, and you're now focused on your work and you're defining your experience with God based on the calling He has given you. And it was also trying to describe how calling ties into your purpose, how your dreams are. And it was such a very interesting thing for me. Like it was a whole series of like 3 Sundays, and it was just, I followed it so keenly because I have not heard purpose being talked about in that way. It's about like, God has called you for one specific thing. Think about it, and I'm like, okay, I want to be a shoemaker as well, but like, where does that fit into doing this? So today I'm going to talk about purpose and calling, and I wanted to just ask you the first question. When you think about purpose, especially because this is a faith podcast, a Christian podcast to be very honest, and everything we are doing we are going in to preach the gospel, like everything is based on that. So when you think of purpose as believers, what comes to your mind? How do you consider this conversation?
Okay, I'm going to start off with something you said, and I remember sometimes, not just after school, there's this person that I was mentoring in school. She just called me randomly out of the blues. I was like, hi, you know what, I found my purpose. I said, what's that editor just said? And I was like, you know what, I've been called to, to Irad, something in business in the sub-Saharan Africa, and it just like it was well-crafted, beautiful English, and it sounded grandiose and cool. And I'm just like, oh, okay, great, I'm happy, And as many people, when they say, oh God, what's my purpose? What they're asking for is, what is... I don't want to go into the terms because sometimes terms confuses people. So I don't want to say, oh, because of assignment, blah, blah, blah. But let's think about it like this. I love that if you bring it down to like the basic foundation. Yeah. The purpose of a thing, dictionary definition, is the reason why that thing was
Created, yes.
So if, for instance, this is a cup, the person that made this cup had something in mind, added a reason in mind in making this cup. That's the purpose of the cup, And of course, this cup, of course, we know what cup is to drink, something. Doesn't mean that you can't do many other things with the cup, yes. So okay, let me use that. This is a chair. Yes. The person that made this chair made it so that people can sit on it. Yes. But many of us, most of the people that are watching right now, you have a chair in your house that is just clothes and books that are on it.
Yes.
We can say it's serving a purpose, but was that the
Purpose it was created for?
No, so purpose is the best definition of purpose I see is from Pastor Manuel, and he said purpose is that one thing at which you must succeed, at which every other thing you succeed will not count.
Yes.
So meaning if I had in mind to make something like if I made this to drink water, you might successfully use it to do many other things.
Yes.
But if it is not serving the reason that I created it for, it's not serving its purpose. So of course there's still so many dynamics to it.
Yes.
Because the how, the what is still very broad.
Yeah.
But when you come to it, if you are asking the question of what purpose
is,
mind is, why did God create me in the first place? I know I cannot tell you because we were created to, one of the scriptures that comes to mind is I think Revelation 4 verse 11. It says, "Worthy is the Lamb." It said, "For you created all things." The ending part of Revelation 4:11. It said, "Created all things for your pleasure they are and were created."
Yeah.
Meaning, everything that exists for the purpose and the pleasure of God.
Yeah.
So it brings us back to the point of purpose is going to be defined in God's term, not in my term.
Yes.
So it's not what I feel like doing or what I think I'm most gifted at, or so it's God. What will you have me do? Why do you put me here? And primarily, and just to sorry, I'm stretching.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Pastor Ed also said this. I learned it from him, and the first time I heard it just makes perfect sense. Is imagine you create something, and that is supposed to come back and report to you.
Yeah.
All you want to hear is like the person have you ever had people you're gisting and they're just telling you all the cool stuff they've done? Oh, I've done this, and it's like I don't care about all that. Or maybe you have a staff. The staff is telling you about his prowess in FIFA, in this. I don't care. The work I gave you to do.
Have you done it?
When we stand before God, what is He going to ask us?
Yes.
Like what's going to matter? It won't matter whether you were a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah.
Did you know Christ?
Yeah.
Did you make Him Lord?
Yes.
I know that it seems it takes a lot to probably explain. But when we look at scriptures, even when we look at Ephesians chapter 1, it spoke about how we were predestined, for adoptions to be adopted as children by God. So God's plan, God's intention is making these people to have a relationship with me.
Yes.
So that is primary, which is why what you said earlier makes sense. We're created for God's pleasure. We're created to have a relationship with God. Every other thing flows out of that.
Yeah.
So whether you're able to, sing or able to, or what's called in assignment dream, everything flows from that place of being that intimacy and relationship with God. So yes, go to, and this is not to say don't ask God, like just throw caution to the wind, just do whatever you want to do with your life. Yes, we still have to go back to Him and just say, oh, what would you like me to do? You want to make decisions, get Him involved in decisions. Because at the end of the day, He created you, and that you're for His pleasure. At the end of the day, there are many ways that we can. I'm being careful, my word.
See, this
because
people they'll just preach and tag you.
Exactly.
Pastor Tolu said.
Let me just stop here.
Okay.
Purpose is like the primary reason, the original intention in the mind of the creator. And when God created us, He created us to relate with us. He created us for fellowship. So primarily is you can be anything in life if you don't know God. You've not you've not set any pleasure to Him. Say I created all things for my pleasure. I created everything to bring me glory. For relationship. So at the end of the day, did I know God? Because everything is secondary from there. Like when I stand before God and God says, I know you. You're my guy. Like when you are on earth, that. It reminds me of this thing Jesus said. Oh, we did this in your name. What Jesus said, he didn't say, oh, he did all that. He said, I didn't know you. So did the person know Christ? And how well did you make other people know? Because at the end of the day, the number one thing in the mind of God.
Yeah.
Is bringing everybody
Well,
back to himself.
yeah.
So purpose for the believer primarily is knowing Christ and making him.
Yeah, and that's such a very, that's like, it's literally everything we want to talk about. But it's so interesting because the first time
Of course, this does not negate other things,
Yeah.
which I know we're still going to talk
yeah,
about.
definitely, It doesn't
Also,
negate other things.
between us,
But like, it's so interesting because the first time, I don't know if it's the first time, I'm going to choose that the first time I ever got to preach was at a youth event when I was doing my master's, and they asked me to preach on purpose. The same description of chair that you use is what I use. And it was like, oh, you just probably back to say, yeah, because I was explaining to people that say, chair can serve so many different things. Like, you can use it as ladder to go up, but like, if the owner of that made the chair said, guy, I sent you to Nifemi Aikomo's house to do what you do. He said, they use me as ladder now. They put clothes on me. He said, but that's not what I sent you there. I sent you there. And it's so interesting because like, I don't forgotten about like saying that, but it was that. But like, this is like, purpose is very easy to say sometimes when you're like, oh yeah, this, that. And it's because if you think about it, we are children of God, and that means we have so many things that we can be gifted as.
like we have, look at God. God is not, even angels, every time you look at God, oh, they say, oh, holy. Like, they're still in the awe of his person. Like, someone was saying recently, said, oh, some people think heaven will be boring because they think of heaven as this very long church service. But God's glory is infinite. Like, we can't find the end of it. That will forever be in all of that.
Yeah.
And if he made us like him, then we're not just limited. We're not just one thing. So
and which kind of brings me to my next question, and is kind of having a conversation about purpose and potentials, because a lot of people, like even me myself, like I think about there's so many things I can do. Like I can design, I can talk, I can do this, I can do that, and there's so many potentials, and so many times people like just pick up their potential and say, that's it. So how, and maybe it's not the how, but let's even speak from your personal experience so that it's not like we're saying to go and do this, but we can also say that about this, how can we navigate that place of having so many potentials and also staying in the place of purpose?
Okay. This, interestingly, I had a conversation called me just last week, and the person was saying, you know what, I need clarity in my life. I can do so many things, but like, I need to know what God will have me do. I have so many potential, but the person was waiting for, to just hear a voice, to just say, oh, no, this is it. Oh, you can sing, you can dance, but all those ones, just focus on this particular one. And that thought is so limiting because our giftings find expression in different avenues and different opportunities. See, I'm a big fan of whatever your hand's trying to do.
Do it well. Because
a lot of times, all your potentials won't always find expression at the same time. Or you won't have opportunities to explore them all at the same time. And sometimes, some of them are just stepping stone to another one. Or some of them are to just bring you into association to some other ones. See, I know how to do many things in this my life. Some I learned, some I have the natural ability for. But am I doing everything now? No, some of them I've done in the past. Some of them they form ladders to where I am today. Some of them, even when I'm today, I'm able to probably even manage or be effective because I have a little knowledge of all those things. So I'm able to like navigate and say, oh no, that didn't do that one well. Like I'm not the one doing everything. So it is many times people limit themselves to just a particular thing. They think they're supposed to just be doing one thing, and they just put your, like someone will say, your multi-potentialite. Like you have the ability to do many things. So don't relegate yourself to just one thing. Or don't just wait to say, oh, because like we said, I'm trying to find a way to bring it home and like bring a picture to it. Okay, I'll figure that out. But you have potential. You know how to do many things. Give expression to those things. They might all not have expression on the same level. Some of them, it might just be you. It might just be to one person. Because another thing is when we're thinking about purpose, everybody's thinking of what is that thing that will announce me to the world.
Yes, exactly.
You know, what is my biggest opportunity to blow?
Exactly.
You know, what has the biggest capacity to either earn me a living? That's what many people are thinking. But at the end of the day, it's not all that. Because if God is sending you to just one person, if you talk to the whole world and you miss that one person, you have
not fulfilled what was in that calling.
So it is redefining that whole idea to say, see, you know, I've seen, you know, a song just came to mind. There's a popular Nigerian artist that sang a song that says, this particular artist, this person has blown. Oh, that one, everybody has heard about it. So say, where really comes to my point? You know, that's what we are all waiting for. We're at a time where success or fulfillment of purpose is defined as a measure of how many people know you.
Yeah.
Or how many popular accolades you have. Can they tell me, you're doing great? Or, you know, that's what many people are waiting for, you know. But we have to come back to the point of, if God says, see, good and faithful servants, thumbs up, that's all you
That's all. Yeah.
You know, so don't let it be a case, you know, I've seen people where we say, I can do this. Which of these, I think singing that is doing now they also buy first release an album, you know, but it might not be so. It's possible that you can sing and you love children, sing to children. Do you know, like, just use that avenue to reach out to, you know, small people. So at the end of the day, it's not a specific thing, you know, it's more of just that offshoot, that expression of the God nature inside of us. Yeah. You know, God has put his nature, like we have his DNA, we have his identity. And we want us to live that out, and it's not, you know, dedicated to one thing.
Yeah, and that's so interesting, because whilst I was listening to that message is such a it's like I put it on my YouTube playlist that anytime because the guy said something, he said Jesus Christ has not fulfilled his potential. He fulfilled his purpose. Yeah. Because Jesus Christ ascended around the 33:30, that's when he ascended into heaven. And imagine there are so many things he could have still done. Like so many things.
Imagine his first introduction into public is turning water into wine. Like if you wanted to be the richest man in the world, you just go to one river. If you
if you didn't want to die on the, there's so many things he could have decided to do. If he didn't want to die on the cross, like.
He had the power to make himself
the richest person in the world.
The most celebrated. They wanted to even make him king at the point. Yeah. He said no. Say that's what I'm supposed. Imagine this day, people want to crown you. I'm like, see, where should I show up? You know,
straight.
You know, let me cut my hair.
No. After I finished watching the coronation last night, I asked my parents that. Am I from a kingship?
Exactly.
Let me know. Let me trace my people back, because in case I am from a kingship, I need to know, because you know, again, it's not a Christian. So I'm like, I can use my own Christianhood too to show people in my and that's like, because even several times, even when the crowd were coming to Jesus, you see that the Bible says he quickly ran away because he wanted to go and spend time with his father. Yeah. He wanted to be able to have a close relationship with his father. And for me, that just helped me kind of realize that, and this is why I'm trying to bring it back to when you said that purpose as believers is two things: to make Jesus known, to know Jesus and to make Jesus known. Yeah. And if you see different potentials you have, that's one thing I try to ask myself almost every time, that I know that I can do this, and I have a linking towards so many things, but am I making Jesus known? Am I knowing Jesus in this thing I am doing? Like, because it's not just about going to say, I'm the best advertising person in the world, and in that thing people cannot trace Jesus into my life. People cannot trace a characteristics of Jesus in my life. And it's like, that guy, don't worry, if you meet him, just give him $2,000, he will do the work for you. And that's not what it is. Like, I was at the salon some days back, and they were talking about some Nigerian female artist who is Otta, who is this one, and I was quiet. And as I was about to leave, they were abusing one of the guy that he was gay. And the guy came to meet me that, guy, what do you think? And I didn't respond, but I just asked him that, do you need me to validate what you're saying? And the guy just laughed and went. So as I was tapping out, and I said, don't talk to that guy. That guy, the only thing you should have a conversation with about is that he's a pastor. And for me, I was excited, not even because they said I was a pastor, but because, like, you could kind of see that, like, I'm making Jesus known in my life. Yeah. And I'm trying to make people know that there's Jesus, exactly. So even when you do those ephemeral things that you think are not important, like going to cut your hair, going to the supermarket, going to buy fuel, like, are you making Jesus known, or is Jesus known in your life as well? Like, there was a particular, God, I wore a face mask that says Jesus loves you. That story. Then this guy hit me from the back of my car, and I was going to forgive him actually. To be very honest, I was just let him go. But as this guy got down, he stretched his 5 fingers at me, and you know what? And I'm like, after hitting me, you're not telling me that. Okay. So I drove him. I said, today you will pay. You will pay. I called police. I did everything. After a while, like maybe 1 hour wasting both of us time, I let him go. And I got home and I removed the face mask. And that's how Jesus loves you. I was like, oh my God. And so that's like, that just brings me back every time. That am I making Jesus known? Like, that's the key thing.
Yeah, so there's that thing of many people want to be earthly relevant but not heavenly relevant.
Yeah.
You know? And this is not, what I want people to take away from this conversation is, this is not just a measure of like what? In the sense of, look at the Bible. Wasn't only pastors God used in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people in the Bible that they were used and they never really changed profession.
Yeah.
Not everybody will be a Peter where you'd abandon your boats. You know, some people will still be Ethiopian and Enoch, where after hearing the gospel, you still continue and go back to the place of assignment. You know, some people will still be the colonials, they were soldiers, they'll still remain in their profession. And so it's not only many people, what they're gaining for is that earthly relevance. Oh, God, should I be a doctor so that I can, you know, save lives and say, oh, I saved lives. But how does that ability and those potential, how does it translate into heavenly relevance? You know? Like, how can heaven say, like, what I'm doing, does it make sense, or does it make impact in the light of eternity?
Yeah.
You know, not just, you know, earthly relevance. And see, there's so many even small stories in the Bible that we don't pay attention to. There's this woman that might go unnoticed. Jesus was at a dinner, I think at Simon's house, and a woman came and just started anointing Jesus' face.
Yeah.
And started, you know, rubbing the head. And people were like, chase her away. If you know her, you know who she is. And Jesus said, what this woman is doing, she'll be known for it. Like, it will be recorded on her behalf, what she's doing. He said, because she's preparing me for my death.
Yes.
And the thing is, many of them at that point didn't know Jesus was going to die. How did she know? She paid attention to what Jesus has been saying. Many things other people had missed. Though she might not be popularly known, you know, nobody, like, she's just a nobody. Yeah. But she paid attention enough to what Jesus has been saying, that, see, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And she was sensitive enough to position herself to serve a purpose that time that was so important that even every person had missed. So it's not, nobody might know you. Yeah. You might never get a thank you, a well done. Yeah. But it comes to, does everyone recognize my contribution? Yeah. You know, it's not a matter of how good or skilled I am, but how am I using it, and is it making sense in the light of eternity? Okay. So I think and
I think like it's just being eternity focused. I don't know if that's the word. Like thinking about it, that this life, like I've been going through a not a bad thing, but I've been ruminating over some thoughts of the paradox of life, about how the moment you enter into the grave, like everything stops. Like you could have been planning to go and preach in Kano for 12 weeks, and if you died some days before that, like it doesn't happen again. And it just, like that thought just keeps coming to my mind about how we need to do the work on earth that makes us relevant for the next phase, which is heaven. And it just helps me always come back and realize that no matter what I am doing, no matter how I am doing it, when, where, I have to make sure that I am doing those things that will make me relevant for heaven, that will make other people, because I was thinking one day about how beautiful heaven would be. I'm like, I want all my friends to be there with me. And I literally started reaching out to them, guy, we have to make this heaven. Like, it's not a thing of like, oh yeah, because it's, but like, it would be so beautiful to just be there with my guys.
Yeah, that's so true, because I've made difficult choices in my life, and this singular knowledge that empowered me to do so, because I asked myself, I'm like, at the end of the day, what matters? Yeah. So and it's bringing everything back to the question of purpose. At the end of the day, see, I might do 100 or 51 or 1 million things. At the end of the day, what counts? Like when I stand before God, what is He going to ask me? Because if I do so many big things and in heaven, those doesn't make any sense. Or I do these few things and like it changes literally everything to say, I want to live such a life that God will just say,
I'm proud of you. Yeah.
Like this might not be. See, I might be making choices that my parents might say they are not proud of me.
Yeah.
My friends and my colleagues might not be proud of me.
Yeah.
The society might not be proud of me.
Yeah.
But is God proud of me?
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, just to emphasize the game, because some people just hear this and they just throw caution to. Sometimes it's good to throw caution to and just say, see, I'm just putting myself in God's hand, like God, like I belong to you. Whatever I want to do with my life, do with my life. Of course, there's a balance of we're in a world ruled by system. You know, we're in a world where you have need, you have to be responsible.
So yes.
And you have to earn a living.
Yes.
You know, so it's not just say, let me just throw caution to you and just be. If you can survive just preaching on the street, and that's fine, because when you die, at the end of the day, you go. Like there's just that balance, but don't ever exonerate yourself from the sacrifice or from the difficulty that comes with living on purpose just because you want to save your life.
Yeah.
If you save your life, you lose it.
Yes, exactly. That's like, I think like the Bible is just full of so many paradox.
Yeah.
And like you can't, if you want to save your life, you are going to lose it. Like just have to die to save us. Like I feel like the Bible is full of so many paradox. I just realized that it cannot make sense to you. Like you're telling me that okay, for me to save my life, I have to lose it, and this guy has to die for me to save. Like,
and it makes perfect sense. I didn't really just say, see, if you're trying to so much save your life, you would end up losing it.
Yeah.
If you're trying to, you know, this is how preserve yourself, you know, keep yourself. If you're doing that, you would make choices that would help you satisfy the purpose or the reason why God called you. But when you're like, see, my life doesn't belong to me. Someone like that first scripture, for his pleasure, I was created. So he owns me. I belong to him. So what would you have me do?
Exactly.
So that's the point of losing your life. See, I don't own myself. I don't belong to myself. Meaning I don't have an ambition. Like I don't have an ambition for my life.
Yeah.
It is whatever you tell me my ambition is, I'm going to just follow it. So that's what it is, you know, losing your life for him and not just trying to say this. You know, and like, you know, there was a time I was thinking about it. I'm like, do you trust yourself with the decisions of your life?
Nope.
Like, like, do you trust yourself with choice? Like, you think you know so well, you think you're so intelligent that you can channel the course of your life.
No.
I'm like, if you're really intelligent,
no,
you know that you don't know tomorrow
at all.
So the best thing to do is leave your tomorrow in the hands of the person that has been there before.
Exactly.
You know, God knows you. He knows the end from the beginning. He's wiser than you. So God, see, I know I'm smart though. I know I have sense more. But if I compare my sense to your sense, so I'd rather just.
It's not where it stops is never. I'm never like.
Do you get
I can't even. It's hard to quantify. It's like that. I know that's one. It's not that in his strength. His weakness is our strength. I'm like.
Like
how?
Foolishness. Like when you say, God, the word.
That thing you said is foolish.
It's
way.
So I'm just like, I'd rather just subscribe to his wisdom and not just.
Yeah, and this is my next question now, and we're almost rounding up. And it was something I listened to, and the guy titled it "Turn Off Your Brain." I love it a lot because he used an example of, he said that, you know, when something bad happens to you, like he said he was sick one day and he had rashes on his body, and he had guests coming to his house for dinner and needed the pain to ease quickly, so they gave him I clearly assume it's Benylin, I don't know the drug, a bottle, and he was supposed to just take like 2 cover caps. Because he was so, like, his brain went up and he drank the whole, like, half of the bottle. He said in the meeting he was so drowsy that when what was happening, and the pastor said, is pastor drunk? Is pastor drunk? And the wife had to explain that, yes, he's drunk of Benylin, that he drank like a half bottle, like he thought. And so he said that experience helped him understand what it means to turn off our brains when it comes to accepting God's calling. And he said because there are certain times that the moment you start trying to justify it, like you say, let me reason this out together, it cannot make sense. He said because the level in which God reasons, we're not even close to it. Like, because imagine, like, this guy sees everything from the beginning to the end. You are dead and you cannot even see what's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah. There's so many times I've tried to record this podcast that Lagos State will just announce that they are doing something and we'll have to cancel all over again. And that means that I assume that I can plan this thing. Like, so your reasoning is maybe 20 minutes, 20 minutes is even too much. That's the only thing you can see. And so, like, there's a concept where you have to turn off your brain when you want to respond or approach the things of God, which leads me to my next question, because a lot of people, one of the conflict they have when it comes to the combination of purpose, callings, and dreams is the purpose. They have a conflict of, I have these dreams, and they know they're not my dreams. Like, I want to be a great designer, for example, but God is calling me. I can feel a call on my life to go and maybe preach the word to people on the street, for example.
Yeah.
There's always that conflict. Like, this is not my, I did not just manufacture this dream. It's always been there as an inclination to my life since I was young. But now I can feel a calling. It does not make sense. They don't connect in any way.
Yeah.
So how do people just try to navigate that conflict?
Okay. In itself, there's no conflict in it, because let me use examples. In the Bible, so there's this guy. He's a shepherd boy.
Mm-hmm.
Where he is, he loves sheep. He loves taking care of flock. And right now, he's taking care of his father's flock. Then one day, his father sent him to go and give food to his brother that were at war. And while he was there, he heard a guy abusing his God. And all of a sudden, he was just angry. Like, he just had this, like, how dare you talk to my God like that?
Yeah.
There was no audible voice of, my son, your calling is, there was nothing.
Yeah.
He just had the dread. It was just a holy anger.
Yeah.
God, what is this? And he said, I will kill this guy. You are abusing my God, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Then he told the king, let me fight this guy. He said, who are you? You're just a shepherd boy. He said this, said, okay, I've killed the lion, I've killed the bear.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, cool, you can do it. And he killed Goliath. I'm talking about David, of course. He killed Goliath.
Yeah.
And when we look back in retrospect, now this guy ended up being the king. He has been anointed to be king right before this time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a desire, there was a zeal in him. The zeal was just so, this guy is talking against my God.
Yeah.
But God was working, using that drive to build, to like lead him to the throne, to the fulfillment of the calling on his life.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have some desires and some longings. They might not, sometimes they don't look like you will see, sometimes we have, maybe God told you something you're going to do. Then you have a desire, like a drive that doesn't necessarily make sense with it. But sometimes it's follow it.
Yeah.
And the Bible is full of examples like that. Moses is another example.
Yeah.
Before Moses even subscribed to the God of Israel, while he was still being raised by Pharaoh's daughter, we had a case where he saw
Two Israelites fighting.
An Israelite and an Egyptian fighting. The Egyptians, and he defended the Israelites and killed this thing. At that time, God has not spoken to him.
No, he hasn't.
God hasn't said, let people go. So a lot of times, the natural zeal and inclinations we have is already God pulling us and pointing us to his direction.
Yeah.
So if you have, follow it.
Yeah.
It might not always mean dropping everything else. That, which is another lesson people need to learn, because sometimes you just think it's supposed to be 100 to 0.
No.
Sometimes it's 10 to 90.
Yep.
Right now, you're a father, you have responsibility. You feel, oh, God is asking you to, do something. It will be irresponsibility to leave your job, leave your means of livelihood, and it will be irresponsible of you.
Yeah.
So at that point is, can you do it on weekends? Can you do it after work? And what I've learned is, the more you obey in the small things, by the time you follow the drive and inclination of Goliath that's talking against your God, then he opens you up to the king's palace. Now you have access to the king. Yeah. Now you become the king's in-law. Then from there, you have opportunity to now play music for the king. So now you're actually being raised in the house. Yeah. You are in that association that would train you for where you're going to. So sometimes it's a step after the other. Follow the zeal you have. Yeah. Because a lot of times, see, I make a funny statement. I might not be able to back it up with scriptures, but is most of the time when you truly desire to follow God's leading, it's almost impossible for you to get it wrong. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's God that works in you to will and to do. Yeah, exactly. Pleasure.
Even the desires is not from you.
Exactly. The desire itself is not from you, because you can't originate. You can't. When you are at the point where you love. And this is okay. Let me say it first, and I'll put it in. when you're at the point where I say I want my life to be about gospel. I don't want to live for myself.
Yeah.
Almost all the time, from there, God will lead you.
Yeah.
Like you would. This doesn't mean that you won't make mistakes. This doesn't mean that sometimes you won't want to do things just to gratify,
yourself.
Yourself. You will, but we have such a God. I still learned it from Pastor Manuel, and look at the Bible. God led rebellious people in the Bible. You know, people that were rebellious, like.
Yeah, if you read like Second Chronicles, a lot of the kings, you say that God led them to go and fight each other.
Yeah, or even Balaam.
Yeah.
Balaam, like, because he was going to, he was paid by Balak to curse the people of God, and of course he saw money. He was a prophet. He was going to go to the God opened the mouth of a donkey. Yeah. To talk to him. Like, it was that rebellious.
Yeah.
God led sinners in the Bible. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if God could do all that for all those people, how much more you now even have the desire to. So the main desire that, see, God, I don't want to do what you don't want me to do. Trust in His leading, you know. And another thing I believe is there's a way God has orchestrated our life. I look back and I see decisions I made at that time. It made absolutely no sense. Yeah. But then I look back, I'm like, God was busy at work.
Oh yeah, God is never.
Like, God is not taken by surprise. Like, you make a change, like, oh my God, you just messed up.
Oh no, I think it's that verse in Isaiah. Where will I start? You can never shock God.
Yes, where will I start from? I have to now
call for strategy meeting.
Yeah, now I have to recalibrate and re-strategize. No.
Yeah.
He's able to make everything
work together for you. And that's like it's such a very profound thing, because even in my life, like, I think there was a day I was having a bad day. With what I do, like this podcast, the monthly set, like every time I was like, why does this make sense? And randomly, I was just checking to my Google Drive, and I found old files of when I was teenage president of my church, then when I was teenagers church president, when I was youth president, when I was doing my master's. I found all those old files when I used to write a lot, when I used to plan things, and it didn't make sense then. But like everyone that knows me, and some people start laughing as I mentioned this thing. Anybody that knows me knows that you cannot ask me for an idea and I don't break it down for you in like proper document. Yeah. And so, like, for me, it has just been, I realized that my life has always been that way. Then when I was doing it made no sense. Like, even I tried to do a podcast like years back. My friend and I, we after work we'll go together. Didn't come to life. And when this podcast started, like, I'm just like, okay, I didn't know what I was doing. But me and my friend just went on a Zoom call one day. We recorded one. Like, I didn't sleep. Then I started Googling how do you edit. And since then, it's just been, the only one step I took was to call my friend, guys, let's talk about this conversation. And since then, it's just been God sending people, God sending resources, God like, and it's the beauty of when you obey God. A lot of people always think obedience has to be the thing whereby you jump out of the water or you jump into the water completely, and that can be so. Yeah. That's not an example. Now, God still needs some of us to jump into the water completely, but sometimes it's just like, and I listen to the message that helped me. It's sometimes just you saying, Pastor Tolu, I feel it in my heart that God is calling me, and that's just having a conversation with someone is sometimes the first step of obedience. To say that.
Yeah, I want to say something, and from what you're saying, there's this thing where we idolize the words, we idolize the calling, we idolize the assignments, and not the. Okay, let me explain like this. God placed a message in your heart, or let's say you have just that longing to. Anytime you go around and you see hungry children on the road, like you feel sick in your belly. And like we said, sometimes this is God, pointing you directly to what you have to do. Sometimes what people now start doing is, they put so much effort and drive in organizing the thing that at the end of the day, the children they're supposed to feed gets missed out of it. So they now want to build a structure. Yeah. How do I name my NGO? That name is not perfect. They're now researching him.
What's the logo?
How do I,
I kind of who are in this branding.
How do I build the organogram?
Yeah.
So they so much idolize the organization of it or the they idolize the idea and not the execution.
Yeah.
You know, you have a message. I think I have something to share to people. I don't know how to go about it. Go on a Zoom, put it out. At the end of the day, it is for the people. It's not for you. You know,
Yeah.
I think I learned this from Adora Lumina so much. And like, for her, she explains or defines purpose as more like for the people. At the end of the day, it is the people that benefit from it, and not necessarily you.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
No, it's not.
So it is, okay, I have this idea, I have this drive and this longing, I have this message to give somebody. Give it out.
Yeah.
If that person is blessed, sometimes it doesn't matter the how. It doesn't matter that you have a structure. And of course, wisdom would, sometimes you get wisdom to put it, you know, to organize it better so that you're able to do better or maybe sustain the idea. But don't let it be about you.
Yeah.
Let it be about
Others.
the people.
Yeah.
Let it be about the people God has sent you to do. Let it be about the assignment God has asked you to do. Because if you're more concerned about, like the example I used, why are these children on the road?
Yeah.
Like if that is your mind, you would end up executing better than just saying,
Yeah.
oh, what is my calling? What is my calling? What skill do I have?
Yeah.
Like let it be less about
you and less
let
about
it be
what
more
you
about, you know, the assignment.
Yeah, and I think like that's such a fantastic way to see purpose. And just the last question as we round off, it's and it's on a thing of trust, because I believe that if I know you and I trust you enough, and you just call me and say, oh, Nifemi, I need you to go to this place to go and do this for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
If I know you well and I trust you that what you are doing for me will be good,
Yeah.
I'll probably say maybe, but I'll probably still go.
Yeah.
And I wanted us to just kind of help people in a way by how do we, just to help people understand that sometimes obeying the calling is linked to trusting in the person that is being called.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, there's a perfect example I was using by me. There's this guy, it was called, didn't give us a name, it was called the rich young ruler. He came to meet Jesus and says, what do I need to do to, you know,
Yeah, get to heaven, eternity, yeah.
And God says, oh, you know what, you know, fulfill the commandments. So I've followed the commandments. And I say, oh, you lack one thing. He said, if you truly want to follow me, so now see, follow. That was it. He says, sell all you have, give it to the poor. And the Bible says the guy went away sad because he had a lot of things. And you know, someone used an example and says, imagine if it was Dangote or Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos. I like Jeff Bezos. That says, oh, you know what? Sell everything you have and come and follow me. Will you think twice?
Nope.
Because you're like,
what do I have? What?
You get, like, even if you are the richest person in your village.
No, you don't have half.
You get, if you're the richest person in your town or in your state, you still say, what do I have? So what made you trust, like, getting back to the example, what made you, be able to do or follow that instruction is because your estimate of the person that says, come and follow me is more than the estimate of yourself. So if I truly rate God more than I rate myself, no instruction from him will be bigger.
Yes,
than to go with.
That's such a word.
So a lot of the reason why people are still so much in charge of their life is because they still think they know what is best for themselves than what God is. And they think they can do better for themselves. Yeah. So if that rich young ruler truly values Jesus. Like following this guy is more like, see, the biggest ambition of my life will be following this guy than everything I've ever had. He will do it with joy. Yes. I was explaining somewhere, a lot of time people just think it was easy for Peter to just
follow. Yeah.
This guy had a boat. This guy wasn't a fisherman with hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
He had a shipping vessel.
Yeah.
He had a boat. Yes, he had a bad day, but it doesn't mean that he has always had a bad day all his life. No. And he had a good catch. He filled, like that time, the Jesus said, cast your net to the distance. He had crazy catch. He filled 2 boats. But what will make him leave everything and follow is because he had the value of if this guy told me to, and if by just one day of being with this guy, I was able to make this so much cash. If I'm following him every day, I'm sorted. Yeah. So people need to come to that point where we can value our estimate of God. Like God will be the biggest thing in our mind. Yeah. So even if he's telling you to start washing toilet up and down, say, he's God. created everything. He said
I
she
will
was
rush to
that's
tell
the
her.
that's the best that can ever be
What you
doing.
doing?
You know? So I
Yeah.
think it goes back to our estimates of God.
Yeah.
If God is the biggest deal to you, nothing you ask to do will be too small to be.
Yeah, that's such a very fantastic way to end. I feel like there's nothing more you can use to top that. But thank you so much, Pastor Tolu,
you
for
for
coming. It's been such a fantastic time. Thank you to everyone for listening. Please stay tuned. I'm never going to say like, subscribe, and share. It's not my thing. It's never going to happen. Yes.
It kind of just said
X you get! See, sorry. You see, but thank you guys. See you guys at the next episode. Thank you. God bless you. Goodbye.